Well, hello. We're the Fearless Photography guys. I'm Neil.
And I'm Michael.
We are going to be talking today about the GoPro Hero 8 Black. Now, you don't really like these things, do you?
Oh, it's not that I don't like them. I just haven't utilized them in my work too much. So I've had one super cheap version that I couldn't even get to work. So I didn't like that, but I have nothing to say on this.
Okay, all right. So
Convince me.
Convince me. Here's the thing. They aren't great cameras. I mean, let's just start there. I mean, if you're looking to really like, wow, I'm going to make some really, it's just going to be just awesome. You know, I mean, you can get cool footage with them, but you're going to be, if you're shooting full frame cameras, even crop sensor cameras, you're going to be immediately disappointed with the low light. But in bright daylight, you know, and in good light, they're very acceptable. If you want to jump on a snowboard, strap a camera on and get some cool stuff, this is what you use. Now, I looked at a lot of them. I looked at the Asako, the this and a bunch of them, okay? It just came down to GoPro's really had the best thing going. They've got all the options. I mean, 240 frames per second, 120 frames per second. I mean, you can shoot this thing a lot of different ways. One thing that's really great about the Hero 8 is they've gone away from this. Now, back in the day, you had to have these cases to keep them waterproof.
Right.
This just is.
Oh, nice.
So here it is, the GoPro Hero 8. And the mic on this is much improved over the older GoPros. Again, no case. It's just waterproof right from the get-go. And your fastener is right here. Okay. I always leave this on as my screen protector until it doesn't work. Okay. I have it set up on one touch. And if you have it set up on one touch, as soon as you touch this button, it's recording, even if it's off, okay? And then if I want to stop it, I just hit the button again, all right? And then it'll power off, and then if I touch it, it's just going to start recording. And that's really handy when I was out elk hunting using this because I didn't want to wear the battery down. But it's up on my head, and I don't want to have to mess around with it because I got to be able to keep my eye on the elk. So I would just then touch this, and away it goes, and then touch it again to power it off. Here's the actual power button, though, and also the mode button. It's over here on the side. So if I power it up, okay, and now this is all just a touch screen. So if I want to go in here and change something up, I just go into... You know, I can set it up. I've got some custom ones. Now it's in 4K 60 linear. Yeah, that's the thing about this. You can shoot it in 1080, 2K, 2.7, 4K. I mean, it shoots 4K.
Does it do well in all those modes, or does it really stand out in one from your experience?
It really doesn't. I mean, it just seemed to work well in all of them. I got wide, and then I've got super view. And super view is really wide. You know, none of these are real tight views, obviously. Wide is 16 to 34, and linear is 19 to 39. So again, if, like when I was elk hunting, the elk was 100 yards away, it looked like an ant, okay? It really did. So you've got to be fairly close to make any of these GoPro settings work. There's zero telephoto capabilities, okay? Now, if I want to, I hit that mode button on the side, I can move it to photo wide, I get live burst, all the different photo options. I can go back. Out, I can set this at wide, linear, or narrow, okay? And that's for photo. Then you can shoot time-lapse with this, okay? I haven't done it, but a lot of people really like doing time-lapse, and I've done some time-lapse, but not on this. It does tell you 48 minutes and 27 seconds left on the card. Battery's down to 18%, so you can see it's getting low. Okay, if I go back to video mode, it's just right there. And then I can go in here, and if I want to change a custom setting, okay, whoop, I hit the wrong one there. I can just go in here and hit edit. And so right now it's at 4K 30. If I want to change the resolution, I can do 4K and 60, 30, or 24. 2.7K, which I like, because that doesn't take up a ton of room, not as much as, but it still gives me some crop functionality. Or I can just go to 1440. In 1440, I can shoot at 120 frames per second. That's really nice. Okay, or excuse me, 2.7K right there at 120 frames per second. Okay, so there's just a lot here that you can do. You can actually shoot 1080 and 240 frames per second. So that's ultra slow motion. So this works great, you know, like when I'm elk hunting. I mean, this again works well for capturing the shot, watching the arrow flight. So it's just got a ton of functions to it. It's very easy to navigate, very easy to use.
So someone who is considering purchasing this, say they are doing filmmaking in general, not just you know, more than just recording themselves snowboarding, but they want to utilize it in a broader range with other cameras. Does it have anything with picture profiles where you can mess with kind of the look at all if someone's trying to get into color grading with this kind of thing?
Look, that's just going to be a disappointing road to go down. I mean,
it's good for people to know that.
No, it really is. I mean, they kind of advertise that, you know, you can get the additional thing and do your white balance, and you just have to take these things for what they are. I think. I mean, it's for grabbing footage, and that's it. I just really think that the more advanced you try and get with this, when you're used to operating on larger sensors, it's just a setup for disappointment.
Sure.
So my thoughts are, don't expect it to be more than what it is. This is, it's an action camera. It's the best one on the market, I think, right now. But it's still just an action camera. Please do subscribe and, you know, like the content, helps with the algorithm. Share it if you think the review was useful to you. Again, I just tell you, this is what it is. Don't try and make it what it isn't. You know, you can take some photos with it. They're not bad, but you better darn well have some light, because it is a disappointment in low light. The sensor is just too small.
Good info.
Thanks so much.